I mean, am I ready for this link click episode? No. Hey! It's Romania Black. Yeah, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. No. What do we do? So episode 6 of Link Click last week had lots of questions being answered, lots of things left unsaid. Chang has ran off with TianXi, who we think is TianXi. I'm gonna call them TianXi until we are proven whether it's TianXi or Tianxin. Do I think it could be the brother in disguise? Possibly, but it could be her. I don't know. Do you believe in the eyelash theory or not? That's the big question. But I don't know. This last episode left us with a lot of questions, and it left us unclear of what was going on. And I've got several comments I want to talk about. There wasn't enough comments to fill up Whiteboard Coon this week. So hopefully this will be a 30-minute intro. But yeah, we were talking in the Discord about a lot of people complaining where they were like, it's just too many questions, not enough answers. And that makes me so sad because it feels like it's a lot of people that just want instant gratification. They watch an episode and they want it to be instantly explained by the end of it. And that's not how this is. It is, we were talking about in the Discord, it is very different from season 1. Season 1 felt like it was setting up the characters. It was setting up how the powers worked. It was very episodic. It was one episode at a time. You solved the case in one episode. Maybe there was a two-parter, maybe, but you knew going into that two-parter that you're probably going to answer the question in the next episode. This is more like a sprawling mystery where each episode, you're going to find out the answers, but it's the show's not going to just give you them. And that makes me so sad that people just want that instant gratification where they're like, I don't understand, so give me the answer. I'm like, if you watch it all the way through, you're going to find out the answers. And all I could tell them in the Discord, I was like, I'm on like page 2000 of Heaven Official's Blessing, and I've been reading it for over a year, and there are still things from chapter 1 that haven't been answered. And so I'm like, shut up! I feel like it's a really smart show. Link Click is a very smart show, and they're giving us tiny crumbs, and people are just being impatient. And I'm like, if you're being impatient with the show and you don't realize what it's doing, maybe you don't deserve it. So, I don't know. But let's dive into these comments before we start. Anime Annie asked, did Lu and Chang plan something beforehand, before all this went down? Because this show, what it has done really well is frame certain things, and then when you find out more information, you go back to those moments again and realize there was more to it than you originally thought. So an example of that would be in the last episode, we thought that Chang was interfering with something in history, and that's why Lu spoke out. But the reality was Lu was speaking out because he wasn't sure what was going on. So the time discrepancy is a little bit there, right? And so did they plan out something before they met up with TianXi? I don't know. Did Chang have a motion listening device? Did Chang motion to the listening device with TianXi? Did he tell her through signs? Because they disabled the camera equipment in the room, so they can't use cameras to see what they're doing with each other. So did he motion to her that there's a listening device there? Did they already plan this out, right? Did he text something to Lu before giving the phone to the guard? Again, there's no camera, so we don't know what he did before it happened. We have no clue, right? All we can do is hear what they did, but we can't see anything. So what's interesting is, I think we were talking about in the Discord with Anime Annie, and I agree with Anime Annie. I think TianXi knows about the listening device, because if you watch when they leave the prison cell, she's on his left side, but when they go to meet up with Wang, she's moved to the right side, which would mean she could whisper to Wang. Wang would have to lean in to hear, but Chang could hear, but the listening device wouldn't pick up on it necessarily. So that was a smart, like, little switch around the side. I agree. I think that could have been a possibility there. And then, was seeing the twins the last straw for Qian, and he took the kids and left? We've talked about similarities to Jujutsu Kaisen, which I won't go into spoilers if you've not watched Jujutsu Kaisen, but could it be that Qian was dangling on the edge of reason after losing his wife and child, and seeing how the justice system wasn't working because, like, the person he thought was the murderer got off, and so maybe it shows that he was the one in charge of the twins' case. So maybe he showed up and saw the twins and the mom dead and the dad dead and this devastating thing, and was just like, that's it. And he just left and took the twins with him. And he's been raising them ever since. We don't know. And Qian, could Qian be here for the Lul's revenge? Okay, we were talking about this. I didn't realize where Qian had pulled up at the end of the last episode. I'm like, is he at the hospital? Is he at the hospital? Is he at the police station? And Anime Annie said, what if he's like where the Luls are? Like right now the police is worried about TianXi and everyone's distracted. Maybe he went to go take his revenge on the Lul family and nobody's around to stop him. Maybe, I don't know. Tony Simi said, could Lil Min's brother have killed Qian's wife and that's why he's taking revenge? Yeah, we've talked about the brother, Min's brother, who supposedly is somebody the dad really thinks is an admirable person. Could they have been the one to kill Qian's wife and child and he's getting revenge on them and working under them to make them think that he's an ally? Could be. Anime Annie said, did TianXi's ability overwrite and activate through the picture and allow her to take over the mom? I was thinking last episode that it was Chang's power possibly evolving, but it could be that because he was in TianXi's body, that TianXi's power activated like in this moment and Chang was just experiencing it, and that created the disturbance of frequency where Lu couldn't quite connect with him anymore. Because I don't think Lu can connect with the red eyes. I think personally that the blue and yellow are meant to be together. Red is separate. And Chang cannot work with red eyes and neither can Lu. But if they all worked together, they could be an unstoppable force. But that's not what this story is about. They're separated, right? The three Rangers are separated, which is interesting because it is the red, blue, and yellow like the three Rangers. It's a fun time. So then Seppi notes, could Qian want Lu and Chang's powers to go back and save his wife? I am all about that theory because, yeah, if Qian found the Red Eyes power and the Red Eyes power only affects the present where they can only steal and possess people in the present time, but they can't go back in the past, it would make sense that Qian would want to know, he would want Lu and Chang's powers to go back and possibly change his wife being murdered. And you may be thinking, well, that'll alter all of time and space. Why would Qian do that? Because Qian doesn't care about right now. Qian, I feel like, has been broken ever since he lost his family, and this would be the ultimate revenge. She's like, I don't care if I screw up the future for anybody. I want my wife and kid. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Cool Princess said that Lu could be changing the timeline to save Chang. I like that theory too. The idea that he's told Chang not to alter the past because he's trying to alter the past. Like, that would be so crazy if Lu had came from the future, was trying to alter the past to save Chang, and was trying to make sure Chang didn't screw anything up so he could get things to line up exactly how he wants them. That could be a big possibility, right? I like that. Because Cool Princess points out that during the first episode of the season, Lu said everything is changing, meaning that he could have already changed the timeline from what it was in the future. I think that's a cool theory. I like that. Anime Annie says the two times that Lu has lost control with Chang were when Tianqin was touching his sister. So, could it be Tianqin's power that activates and not Tianqi's? Could it be Tianqin's power activating to possess the mom? Could be. SQQLBH314 says, was Tianqin teaching Chang the home sign? And while the home sign is doing this, could that be a potential touch where that could have been the loss of contact, where Chang didn't exactly put his hands together to go back, but it was close to it, so it created a disturbance of the frequency? Could be, not sure. And then Alexander Q talks about the time machine. They were like, what was the plot of the time machine? Was it to go back to, was it to save their wife? And so I was like, it's been a long time since I read the time machine. It wasn't my favorite story. I thought it was a little boring. I was like, it's not my cup of tea necessarily, even though I do like sci-fi. So I went back and looked up the plot summary. And The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, which is, we think, the contraption the ED is based off of, is about a man that goes into the future. A man goes into the future and he meets this female species, this female named Weena that he likes. And in the story, he saves Weena, but unfortunately, due to the adventures they have, he ends up losing Weena in a fire. And he basically loses his friend and has to go back in the past without them. So, I don't know what that says. I don't know. We've seen the image of Chang all bloody at the beginning of this season. So, is Lu trying to prevent his friend from dying or being hurt? And he's come from the future to do it? Or did he go in the future to do it? I don't know. This series gives us so many questions, and I've talked for 10 minutes, but those are my comments. Basically, it's anybody's guess, but I really love what this series has done for getting us to theorize and question everything and wonder what the heck is going on. I didn't think that there would be spoilers for me to worry about, but I have stayed away from the promo materials. People in the Discord have been spoiler tagging the promo stuff and talking about it, and I'm like, well, by the end of the season, I'll get to that maybe. My thing is, I don't like looking at the promo stuff because if there are like symbolic things that the show is going to reveal to us later on in the season, I don't want to look at a promo poster and see it, and then in the episode it happened to me be like, oh, already seen the poster, so I'm not surprised. You know, I think after the season is over, I'll probably ask Discord to give me all of the spoilery promo images and we can talk about it in the big discussion, but we'll see, right? We'll see. So anyway, I've talked enough, so I'm going to get started with this episode. I hope y'all are excited. I sure am, but we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to see what the heck episode 7 brings. We're past the halfway point. What could happen, right? So we're going to start episode 7 of Link Click season 2. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do this. This show is not messing around. On the one hand, things were a lot more streamlined in this episode with just a few little minor mysteries, like how did Lou get a boat, was able to jump in the air and tackle Chang when he could barely walk an episode ago, or has he been faking it the entire time? I'm like, oh my god, what? Okay, Lou, you're gonna have to come clean now, right? Okay, Lou, you got some explaining to do, because there's clearly stuff you're not telling us, and I want answers. So yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, I can't believe Wang is dead. Like, Qian is not messing around. Qian is like, nope, we have just cause, and she could turn us in. So it's very important that their faces not be seen, which is interesting. It's very important that their faces are not seen. They can't be identified because they likely have pasts that have trails that can be traced. So I'm just kind of amazed at a lot of things. The Red Eye's power is terrifying, and I'm really freaked out. I don't like zombies, and I don't like mind control powers. And so, and the Red Eyes can control people. So, okay, we need to talk about this. Qian's whole deal. We're gonna put Qian here. Old Qian Jin here. Of their whole deal. Them knowing the police department has been really critical. I was wrong. We were theorizing about where they could have gone. They went to the police station to try and lure them out. Okay. But yeah, oh my gosh. So basically going through the idea that it's going to be impossible to escape once you try to go in. Like, it's what they basically found, this old town, this old maze, this abandoned subdivision that they could use. It does not have good security. It is not monitored well. It doesn't have good surveillance. They could easily hide there and escape and go around to the docks. So what is Qian's deal? It seems like that the twins, and I'm going to put a question mark there, and him want to take Chang. They want to take Chang away, right? And I think it's because they know what Chang's power is. Chang's power is to go into the past. That seems through the photographs, right? Through photos. That seems to be... It would kind of be cool if the idea of the photos themselves are the time machine. Because, you know, we have the concept in the ED of the time machine. It would kind of be cool if the time machine itself is a photograph. That'd be kind of like a cool reference, because if you think about it, a photo is like a time machine. It's capturing a moment in time and cementing it and giving it a physical form, right? So the idea of using a power to go through a photo back to that moment is essentially time travel. That's what it is. It's time travel. You're using the photo as the time machine. So it's kind of cool if the idea behind the ED is suggesting that Chang uses the power to go through the photo as activating a time machine to go into the past. then that seems to work, right? And I could see how, I could see why Qian would want to take Chang, because he's like, oh, you're the one that can go into the past. Okay, then we're going to do that. Now, the thing is, what I think they want to do is, now why would Qian and the twins want Chang to go back in the past? Well, for a lot of reasons. Qian wants to save his wife and kids, and the twins would want to save their mom. So, or their dad too. I mean, I'm gonna say the mom, but so it would make sense that both of them would want to use that power that Chang has to go back into the past. And maybe the idea of taking the power is not necessarily stealing it, but possessing it and using it for themselves. So it could be that the twins want to possess Chang and then go into the photo, right, to change the past. Now, the logistics of that, I'm not entirely certain. The fact that the Red Eyes can use their power in the present to possess people in the present is terrifying. Terrifying. Because that means there's no holds bars. It's not enough that you destroyed photos of yourself now. That's not good enough. All they have to do is touch you, and it's over. Now, the question is, and I did go to the Discord before I jumped on here because I wanted to see what was in the black box in the Discord real quick. Everyone's conclusion is, when we get to the boat scene, love wins. Today, I'm all for it. But the idea, I think Anime Annie or Tony sent me, somebody was posing the idea that TianXi can possess through a photo, and Tianqin can possess in the present, in real time. That's the case. Okay. So they both are Red Eyes potentially. They both are Red Eyes potentially and have a Red Eye ability. Okay. So that begs the question. In the case of Lu, we know that Chong kind of is like TianXi, if that's TianXi that we're looking at, not Tianqin. We're assuming that Tianqin is the one that's dressed up like the sister and TianXi is the one dressed up like the brother. We're still assuming, in my theory land, they've swapped places, right? Because TianXi with Chang could talk, and we don't think that's possible. But here's the thing. Tianqin, maybe he's possessing her through a photograph. Maybe he's possessing her through a photo that he has of her. That's possible. It could be that Tianqin has the power to possess through photos as well as in the present is possessing her. And it's like a chain event. That's terrifying, but it could be. So we know that Chang possesses those in a photo, and we know that Lu can guide and see into the past, supposedly 12 hours in the photo. I'm going to say that Lu maybe has been lying. I'm just going to say it. Lu has probably been lying, and the whole thing about seeing into the past with the photos I think is true, but I think what Lu is not telling us is that he can see into the future. I think that Lu, if he can see 12 hours in the past, I think he can see 12 hours in the future. I think Lu has the ability to see into the future as well as the past, and he saw what was going to happen, and so he sprung into action. Who knows where he got the boat from? Who knows? But I think Lu can see into the past and the future and saw that Chang was going to be in trouble and what was going to happen. And so now the question is, of course, how did he know that how could he see into Chang's future? And so it could be like, did he have a photograph of Chang? Is it from touching Chang? Did they have a connection with their abilities? Lu knows something he's not telling us. And so I'm wondering if Lu saw into the future, knew something, or people have been speculating this. Has Lu known what was going to happen from the start, and he's gone back into the past to try to change it himself? Is everybody trying to change the past, even though Lu said we probably shouldn't do that? Is that the case? Is Lu trying to change the past to keep Chang safe? Now, I don't know. I feel like the twins and Lu and Chang are going to be up against one another, but then where does Qian fit into this equation? Like, I almost wonder if there's like 3 sets of power users. You have the 2 red eyes, you have Chang and Qian that have the yellow eyes, and then you have Lu and somebody else with blue eyes. Could it be Ling? Who knows? Some Alexander Q was saying in the ED that Ling has like a blue tint to her eyes from the screen. Is that foreshadowing? I'm wondering if they're all just like 6 people with these powers and it's mixing and matching, right? I don't know, because then you have like the 3 rangers, the 3-star rangers, and 3 villains. I don't know, but I do fully believe that Qian and the twins are trying to use Chang's ability to go back into the past and alter it to help themselves, because Red Eyes seemed extremely intrigued by Chang's ability when they were possessing Ling back in episode 1 and back in the episode of the last season. And honestly, Lu is worried about the repercussions of changing the past because they impact the future. And if Lu is from the future, he doesn't want things to be altered because he's like, hey, I gotta still exist in the future so I can come back and save you in the past. You know, one of those butterfly effect things. But I don't think Chang and the twins care if they mess up the future or the timeline. They just want their past to change so they can be happy. So I don't think they care if they screw things up. They're just desperate to get their wife and child and their mom back. And so they're working together under this mutual understanding that they're going to help each other without questioning how it's going to affect things. Now, do you think the twins understand that things are going to be affected? Maybe, maybe not. I think Qian knows that the future could be affected, but he doesn't care, right? So Lu's keeping secrets. Lu is keeping secrets, and we're about to be in episode 8 next week, the rule of 8. If you're going to explain something about what's going on, now's the time. But I don't know. So much happens in this episode. I'm not saying they're safe. Just because Lu shows up like some hero and tackles Chang and saves him in the moment, that does not mean that they are safe. That guy on the ship could have a gun. The girl could try to possess Lu or TianXi. It's so confusing because we've been talking about the theory that TianXi is actually the brother and Tianqin with the short hair is actually the sister. And is that true or not? There's 2 mysteries that I think need to be solved right off the bat. And that is the identity. One is the identity of the twins. Who is who? We need eyelash gate needs to be solved. We need that. And then the other thing is Lu's knowledge. What the hell does Lu know that he's not telling us? Can he tell us everything? He might not be able to because that would alter the future, so he's keeping it close to the vest. Whatever, but Lu does need to tell us something, or we need a flashback to find out. I know the live action's going to do that, but we need something. So yeah. But Qian in this opening scene with the kid says there's only one way out through the streets. And that you can't bring up a car to get him. You've got to find a way to get through surveillance and avoid the cameras and make it to Old Town where you're not going to be picked up upon. He's like, if you can make it that far, then we'll be okay. It's going to require some physical effort. And that's when, like, apparently all they have to do is touch someone and they can possess them. And they can possess multiple people, which is a problem, right? As long as they're touching them. Nope. So now, TianXi, we think that the one can possess through photos and one can possess in the present. So we think if we're going by the eyelash theory, we think that the sister can possess through photos. And that would make sense because it would tie with the sister having the photo of her and her mom from the beginning, right? And so that would make sense. And we think that the brother just has to touch to possess, which would make sense too because the brother's stepping in to save the mom and whatnot. Now, the question becomes, the kind of weirdness of it all is, the weirdness is the possession, like the fact that the brother was touching the sister at the time. She was holding the photograph of her and the mom. So could that have activated powers in both of them where she was able to suddenly possess the mom because she was holding the photograph, but the brother activated it by touching her, which is physical touch? And because here's my thing. I think the brother it might have been like a chain link reaction where the sister had the ability to possess through the photograph and possess the mom because she's holding the picture of her and the mom, but the brother had the power to possess whoever he's touching. So he kind of like, it's kind of like an electrical current through a conduit. Like if you're holding, like if this is a metal pole and here's an electrical current and here's an electrical current, it just goes through one to the other. So, because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, would the sister kill the dad? No, I don't think so. I think she would not have. Would the brother have? I think so. To protect the sister? Yep. So I think that the brother has been the one. Now, the question is the brother using... Here's the thing, too. They're wearing the same shorts. And I know that seems like such a little thing. They're wearing the same shorts. Just a different jacket, different shirt, and one has long hair and one has shorter hair with the fringe. Again, we haven't seen... I want to go back to that OP when we get to it, to the OP, and see there's an image. The OP has changed, by the way. Now you can see images of both of the twins, or one or the other of them both there, leading them away. And God, the one night guy was, you know, very, very cautious, but let them go ahead, saying it's odd that Wang smiled so much, which should have been a sign that she was possessed, right? When you exit the back of the police station, you'll go into the neighborhood. And that's where I'm going to arrange for you to be taken here. Okay, so I want to go back to this OP, if I can get to it, and look and see if there is a scar, if there's an actual scar on the twins' face. And Crunchyroll has been acting up a wee bit this evening. I'm glad we got through the reaction, because Crunchyroll, before I started this episode and the reaction, when I pulled it up, it was like, oops, something's wrong. And I was like, if Crunchyroll messes up during this reaction, because it has for me before, then I was going to be a little bit upset. But I want to go and check out the OP and see what we get, and see that picture if we see a scar on the kid's face. Because as we talked about, the brother would have a scar because of the head wound that was given to him by the dad. Now, my question is it really the twins, or is it one of them playing both? And the shorts kind of is the thing, because they're both wearing the same shorts, socks, and shoes, just a different shirt, jacket, and the hair. Is the sister playing both of them, and they're just trying to use the twins to throw them off, and the brother's actually dead? Or are they, which that's a kind of far-fetched theory, because you'd think that they have a police report about the one twin being dead if that was the case. But the information about the twins has been erased, so who knows? But I'm like, is it possible that there's just one sibling that's playing both of them? Could be. There's a whole thing. Qian has been very adamant that they not show their face. They not show who they are, because that would be a way to identify them, and we can't have that happen, right? We can't identify them and have that be a thing. So it made sense that TianXi took the mask off in the interrogation room, because there were no cameras, to get a picture of their face that could match it up with something. I want to go back through this OP real quick and see if anything like stands out. Just, you know, why not? I did talk about during the reaction that I think that the water, it makes sense now. We have the water, we have a boat. It shows him like hitting the water. It looked like a silent voice where there was like blood coming out. I'm a little worried. I got really worried about Chang in this episode. I was like, I thought Chang was going to be the safe one this season. I thought that we were going to be like getting revenge for Lu dying. I thought Chang was going to have to take charge. And now Chang is the one I'm worried about is going to get hurt, and Lu is going to have to take charge again. So I'm like, so what are we doing? But I want to go back to this OP if we can and see if anything, we see the crane game, right? And see if anything stands out that didn't stand out before. And there's all the stuffed animals surrounding it, right? Such a creepy, like it's so dingy and everything. This season, though, it did not hold back. Like the action and the sequences, and like Crunchyroll's being so slow tonight. So sad. But it's interesting. Yeah, the fight scenes, while this is loading, the fight scenes between Chow and Wang and the guy and the guards, like the military men, it was so good. Ma, I don't like Ma's character at all. Like him throwing the dirt. Like Ma's smart enough because he threw the dirt to try to like play dirty and stab her. But because he's worried, and Ma's worried about getting killed, so he doesn't want anything happening, and it's like, okay. But that's so interesting that, God, the fight scenes. Okay, I'm back on the OP here. We have a book. We have a book with notes. We have a gun, which is terrifying. We have the toy animal that gets blown apart, and we have Chang, right? And Chang going up, and there's all of the colorful fluid, like, coming back into him. We see somebody dead on the ground by what looks like a railroad crossing. I don't like that. Nope. And we see, yep, the dead body. We see something that looks like glasses, maybe. There's like, what looks like bloody rags or something. There's the body. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like where this is headed. And so then it shows him in the photographs coming out of a tunnel, right? And then going up to the skyscraper. The tunnel is interesting. I don't know what the point of the tunnel is going to be. We've talked about it in previous reactions, what it could possibly mean. But, and then we see like the same kind of like blurry imagery that was with Lu when his powers were going berserk, when Red Eyes was inhabiting Ling. And so we see Chang, and we see the glasses and Lu. We see the glasses with Lu and it breaking, and we see him coming up. And then we see him and Chang side by side, him and Chang face to face, right? But then when they transpose from the other side of the building, they're in the forest where the tunnel is, and it's the brother, TianXi, who we think it is, staring face to face with Lu, right? Now, we can't see if there's a scar or not, but it looks like the brother, right? And then we see Ling possessed. So that makes us think that the brother was possessing Ling, but if the brother in this image is actually the sister, then they're possessing through the photographs, right? And they have the knife, and then Lu's like, what the heck's going on? And then we see Chang, who now has been possessed by Red Eyes as well, going up through the skyscraper. And then we see, though, here's the thing. When the person reaches for Chang, the sleeve is the sleeve of the brother with the short hair, but then it pans up and it's supposedly the sister. But the eyelashes are still the same, right? The eyelashes are still the same, even with the wig. So is it the brother playing both of them? I don't know. And then they smile and put the hood back on, and they have the toy, and then there's the hand reaching and grabbing the monster in the toy there, and the claw machine and Chang. And Chang's like, what the heck is going on? And he looks back towards the claw machine. But then we see Emma. He reaches for Emma. We see Ling. We see Emma. We see Qian. Qian and Emma and Ling are together there. Yep. And it's just the three of them. And then it's Lu. And he's trying to touch the hand. And there's a barrier there that keeps him from doing it. Now, there's a moment there where Emma's eyes are golden, like Qian's. There's a split second where they are. So, and it's Ling and it's Emma. And on the rooftop, it looks like there's Ling and Qian and Emma together on the rooftop. So, what the heck? And she looks like back and doesn't look at him. And then Emma falls. So why is Emma, Ling, and Qian together? And then we have, because what we have in this moment in the OP is we have Qian, we have Ling, and we have Emma, who dies and falls. And then we have Chang, and reaching for Chang was TianXi. And then in the woods, we have Lu and TianXi. Okay. So, could that be that we have Chang and TianXi have a similar power to go through photographs? And then Lu and TianXi have a similar power of either possession or foresight? And then where does that leave Emma? She's the victim. But then Qian and Ling are like the third wheels. But Qian seems to be the mastermind and the boss. Oh, that could be Qian is the boss of the twins. Ling is the boss of Lu and Chang, because they said in the shorts that Ling was the boss lady. She was constantly the one in charge. Okay. Maybe that's the connection. Interesting. And then Chang goes back down. We see the crane game. Everything goes in reverse. There's the monster. The hood comes off. And then we see Chang like fall from them, like falling away from them. And then before he hits the ground, we see him go through the tunnel, but I'm like, there's a bed in the photos. Then there's like different pictures of things. Like, what is this? And then he falls in the water. And there's like, it looks like a crime scene, like different crime scenes. Huh. What do we do with that? And then he sinks into the water with the crane game. Huh. I don't know, but that's so interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it. So yeah, so now it's like a game of Among Us. Like, if the red eyes can possess people, how do we know? Well, you know if you see their eyes turn red, but it's not apparent right off the bat, because it was not apparent right off the bat with Chang and Wang. Both of them from the last episode, you wouldn't be able to tell until the show decides to let you know. So I'm like, well, that's terrifying. Nope. But then Lou got out. Lou managed to get out. He broke the glass. He jumped out the window. So, a man that was injured, that says he could barely move because of a stomach injury, he suddenly jumps out a window and manages to make it okay. I know that some people may think that maybe Chang possessed Lou, but I don't think that's the case. I don't know. I don't think that was the case. I think Lou was relieved at the very end scene, because some people were noting, like on Twitter, that he was smirking when he tackled Chang, and I was like, well, he's tackling Chang and he was smirking because he saved him, and he was like, oh, good job, Lou, you did it. You stopped the timeline from going crazy. I don't think that Chang possessed Lou, one, because we didn't see his eyes yellow, and it wasn't through a photograph. They delete all the photographs of themselves, so that can't be it. They can't possess except through a photograph. It's not like the red eyes, unless their powers have suddenly evolved now. But I do think that Lou, there's no way that Chang, even if he did possess Lou to give him strength, could have broke through the window and jumped down 5 stories or whatever. No. I think maybe that Lou broke the window and then escaped but didn't jump all the way down. I don't know. Lou has some kind of crazy power that he's not telling us about. He needs to probably do that since things are so dire, but he's choosing not to. I feel bad for Chow. Chow has now lost Qian and Wang. Like, Qian has killed his 2 partners. So what is the deal? What is Chan's business? Why does Chan want to torture Chow? And what is he doing? Why is he so, like, against all this? I like that Chow was like, oh, well, Chan wouldn't do such things. I'm like, well, he killed Wang, so yeah, I think so. I felt really bad. Like, apparently, though, once you get possessed, you lose consciousness. And so we see here that she touched Chang. But again, you didn't see his eyes change colors until she got close enough to touch her. And then that was it. So yeah, what is the deal? And then they use a metal detector to detect the tracking device. Now Ling is like, okay, well, where do I go? What do I do? And you see her like look around all the street lamps and see the bike and be like, okay. Now, I'm sure some people are questioning, why did Ling like take the bike, and why didn't Ling, like, how'd she end up at the dock before the police did? Well, the thing of it is, one, Wang and Chow went into the trenches because they were professionals and prepared, and they ran into the guards, and that's what held them up. I feel like Ling is smart enough to know I'm not going into a dark alleyway because I can find, one, there's too many corners. She's like, no, the smart thing is that, you know, it's a block section of time. It's a square. So I'm thinking that Ling understands. Ling seems a lot smarter than Chang. But Chang was possessed, so we can't get mad at him. But here's the police station. I'm sure that Ling knows on her bicycle, if she gets into this business here, that's like instant death. No. But she knows that there's a dock over here. She knows that there's a river. So this is kind of like a dead end, right? You can't go past the river on foot. So she thinks, if I ride my bike around to the other side, maybe I'll at some point catch them at the pass before they get out and like make a beeline for it. She wasn't anticipating the boat, I'm sure. And that's just what happened. So I think what Ling does makes sense. if you were having a level head in the moment, I think it would work. And then Qian is just timing everything out perfectly. I will make some arrangements to come get you. All right. And then the thing that's the scariest about this entire deal is that TianXi points out the listening device and says, I gave you a chance. I gave you another chance. Why weren't you, why did you try to trick me? And she's like, but how can we cooperate like this? And it says, sorry, from now on, it won't happen again, and breaks the device. So I'm like, is Tianqin like answering is Tianqin or Tianqi making Chang answer for themselves, or can they control their thoughts? That's the scary part. If they can control their thoughts, that's not just possession. That's not good at all. That's not just making them move like a zombie. That's controlling their actions. And has Chang always been wearing the ring since the beginning? Was Chang wearing the ring in the last episode? I don't remember. I don't recall if he was wearing that ring or not. But man, Wang had such badass moments, and Chow did too. Like, both of them just fighting, and like the choreography of the fight scenes was great. And using the handcuffs as brass knuckles, like Chow like just pile driving that one guy. Like, it was all so good. The fight scenes were great. And then oh my God, just for her to get whacked with the baseball bat, and then Qian showing up with the baseball bat with him. Now, the one guy's face was not covered, so if Chow took a picture of him, that would have been great, but I don't know if he did in the moment because he was so worried about Wang. And then he hits her on the back with the baseball bat and says that she's seen too much. She's like, you were supposed to just distract them. A part of me feels like Qian didn't want to kill her. Like, he's like, you guys were just supposed to distract her. Like, what the hell? Why'd you let her see you without your mask off? Now I gotta kill her because I don't have a choice. But you do have a choice, and good sir, what are we doing? And that graphic of him just like, of the bat coming down and it just being like the splat. And then, yep. And then poor Chow. He's like lost 2 people like in the span of 2 days. It's awful. His voice actor was really good. Like, him just like screaming out in anguish. That was really well done. But I was like, damn. Come on. What the hell? It's really sad. And then, yeah, and they go by the river. And she says his name. Ling says his name. And then, why did you go with her? And then Tianqi's like, well, I didn't expect you to get here so fast, but no need. We're going to go by water and get out of here. And that little boat. And then in comes, I love her just like going down the slick part to try to beat it. And then Lu comes in with sparkling water, glittery seas, just dives right in. And then Tianqi's like, what the hell? And then there he be with his boat. And I love that he just baps into it like, nope. And then jumps out with the shoes on. And gets Chang away from them. Yep, and then Ling shows up. I mean, it's amazing. It's like, can you ship them anymore? Can you ship them anymore? Lu being like, oh, hey, bestie, how's it going? How's it going, shippable moment? And then Chang's back to normal. Yeah. His eyes go back and he's like, what the hell? And Lu's like, yep, fortunately, I caught up. Interesting. So that's the question, right? Like, what is Lu's deal? What has Lu been hiding? What's going on? What we doing with this? Now we know they want Chang for sure. They are not interested in Lu, which is curious because Lu seems to be the one that can guide him through the photos, but Chang's power seems to be the one that they want, the power to go. It seems like Lu can look back. He can like use the photos as a mirror and look back and forth into the past and possibly into the future, but he can't actually go there himself and do anything. But Chang's the one that can actually physically go there with his power and change the past. It's like Lu has access to the time machine, but he can't get in it and turn on the ignition. And Chang is the key that turns the ignition on the time machine and actually gets to go and use it. So the question is, They seem to want him. And that makes more sense now that TianXi, whether it's the sister or the brother, whatever, they gave the photo to Lu. And then because they knew that Chang would eventually get it and would want to investigate. It was just a trap to lure him in, right? To lure him in and then let him know that the twins, who they are. Chang's an empath, so of course he'd want to help. And now it makes more sense why Lu was like, I don't know. But he can't tell Chang no because Chang will question why. So it's just created this chain of events. I'm very curious what the next episode's going to bring. I always have the rule of 8. The 8th episode's not let me down. And now we have Lu showing up. Hopefully him and Ling can get Chang out of there and get him away from that boat and those twins that can possess you and go from there and get back up with Chow, and we'll see what happens. But or maybe they'll get in the boat with the twin and be like, where are we going to take us? Let's all go together. I don't know. I'm very curious, though, to see what's going to happen next. So I feel like this was like, next episode feels like it's going to be the transition into the final act of the season. What that's going to look like, I don't know. And I'm terrified, but I'm also really, really excited. So there's that. But in the meantime, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. I hope you all enjoyed this reaction discussion. I hope you all have a wonderful week. It was the shippable moment at the end, the knight in shining armor coming to rescue his beautiful Prince Chang. It was the gayest moment of this series so far, and I'm living for it. But I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yes, I will be back for episode 8 of Link Click. Bye!